Hey guys, my name's Crystal Kenny, and I'm in love with creating. All things artistic and imagination involved. I'm an American girl who chased her creative dreams all the way to Paris, France, making a living using photography. This podcast takes you inside the stories of all the artsy folks I've met along the way and gives you that extra push to discover your creative gifts. The desire to create is deeply inside each and every one of us, and I give you the tools and inspiration to find a new way of living a more creative life. This is La Vie Creative, the podcast. Today on the show, I have two special guests. Grace is the co-founder of Inspirelle, and Elizabeth is the senior editor of Inspirelle. Inspirelle is a wonderful website that I found years ago. I love working with them. They work to connect and empower international women who live in France or share a love of all things French. We chat about how the website came to be and how it's evolved over time. All right, guys. So I am very excited to talk to two guests today. The first time I'm doing this, I'm very excited to have them both on the show. One is the co-founder of Inspirelle, and the other is the senior editor for Inspirelle. So I want to welcome to the show Grace and Elizabeth.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, ladies. So I want to start a little bit with your Paris stories. That's how we kick off every podcast, is what brought you to France, what brought you to Paris. So maybe we start with Grace. Tell me a little bit about what originally brought you to France.
So I was living in Hong Kong. Well, I was born in Chicago and I was living in Hong Kong, trying to discover my Chinese roots, and I met my French husband.
I love that. You're like trying to discover your roots, and instead you pick up a French husband.
Yeah, somehow in Hong Kong, of all places. And we actually, we were both based in Hong Kong, working around the region. But then my husband's work, changed, and he was spending more time in Europe. And when we had two kids, we decided, well, France would be the best place where we could spend more time together. And so we ended up here in 2009. Obviously, my husband's from France, so it was not a huge move for him. But
maybe for
it was
you,
a pretty big move for me. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's always a little harder for non-French people. What about you, Elizabeth? What brought you to France?
Well, I had left my job and I was applying to graduate schools, and I had another friend in the same situation. And we had planned to come to Paris for a friend's wedding, a mutual friend's wedding. And we decided to sort of make it a 3-month stay since we had this break in between starting school again. And then I met a Frenchman, I think probably you hear the story a lot. So, who's now my husband. And so, yes, I decided to stay.
These Frenchmen just dragging all these women to France. I love
It's very rarely the other way around. Have you noticed?
It happens. I mean, it's not a bad story. I mean, love bringing you somewhere. That's very nice. I like that story. Not a problem. So let's talk a little bit about Inspirelle. I am a huge fan. I've known you guys for a long time. I feel like, what year did it start? Tell me about Inspirelle. What brought it about? Why? What is it? Help listeners understand Inspirelle. Maybe, Grace, you can start off for us.
Sure. Well, we launched Inspirelle in September 2015, and it was sort of the brainchild of a few friends, myself and Nancy and a couple of other partners who have moved on to other ventures. But, Nancy had been living here for many, many years before me. And I was, that was around my 6th year here. But basically, we were always looking for information in English. We all speak French to varying degrees, but to have all the information in one place in a digestible format, it was just hard. And I was inspired by other sites that friends had created for expats, like in Hong Kong and other cities, to create something just for women, and not necessarily just for moms, but also for women at all stages of life, because women, we have different aspects of our lives that need fulfilling. So, me being a mom of young kids, I needed information on schools or after school activities and summer camps and everybody was looking for things like American or North American or non-French stuff, like where to buy a Thanksgiving turkey or where to get Libby's pumpkin pie filling. And we decided to create something that was not only a one-stop resource for women, but also that would inspire other women like ourselves who were new or, just, I don't really like the word expats, but I mean, that's kind of the term that people use to describe people who are not from this country. So let's use that, expats here, to inspire other people, because we all arrive here. It's a little bit hard to get started. It's hard to find information, but it's also hard to sometimes make friends and just start a new career if you don't come here with a job. So we wanted to have a resource, plus also present the stories of women who have successfully reinvented themselves here, so we can inspire others to have hope that they can also do the same.
I think the name is very fitting, Inspirelle, a lot of inspiration going on.
And a lot of thought went into that name.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not easy to come up with a name. I'm just realizing the whole thing with L too, like her in French. Why did I never notice this before?
Inspirelle. Inspirelle.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, I am so slow. Well, I got the inspiration part, so that's the most important part. So tell us a little bit, Elizabeth, about how Inspirelle is empowering women. I know you guys are constantly doing events, you're highlighting people with stories. I mean, how do you decide who to feature? I mean, just tell us a little bit. You're the senior editor, so talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I'm the senior editor, and I work with Nancy Ing-Duclos, who's the editor-in-chief and the other co-founder. And so, like Grace said, we're really trying to provide a variety of resources and experiences for women at different stages. Since, as she mentioned, women are constantly reinventing and transforming ourselves at different stages of our lives. So we have two main parts of Inspirelle. One is the website, which has articles every week, and it can be anything from, what art exhibits are on right now to how to manage your personal finances, to maybe a story of an inspiring woman who's doing something really cool that we want to talk about. So we have regular contributors, women like us, who are creating their own jobs or reinventing themselves. And when we want to talk about their stories, sometimes we'll hear about a story of a person that we're very interested in, like you, Crystal. You wrote this memoir. And when I saw that came out, I just thought that was fascinating. And I wanted to talk to someone who had written a memoir and self-published a memoir about life in France.
Thank you.
And so the other part is the event, where we try to bring the women who are our readers, our subscribers, and also our members, because we do have a membership program, together, either online or in person, so they can connect with each other and support each other. We're always trying to lift up women and what they're doing and highlighting them and connecting them. That's, we'd say our mission is to inspire, connect, and empower. So that's what we're trying to do in both the website, the articles, the newsletter, and the events.
I love that. I mean, we can only use more good news right now, right? Especially after the last year, we need all the good news we can get. And since you've been around for quite some time now, writing about many different women from many walks of life, do you have any stories that kind of stand out to you? Like anything that inspired you or something that was really huge that you really enjoyed sharing? What's like one of the biggest stories that really stand out for you?
Well, last year we profiled a woman. Do you remember the story we did about Eden, Grace? She was a woman who had a career in marketing, I think, and very successfully. And then she just wasn't that satisfied with her life. And one day she went on this dive. She'd never been scuba diving before, and she went below the water and she saw all these different colored stones, and it just was this transformative experience for her. And when she got out of the dive, she decided she was going to become a jewelry designer. And now she has this amazing jewelry house and is like one of the only women-owned jewelry houses in France that has reached a certain level. And that for me, that was a really inspiring story. That's the one that comes to mind.
Yeah, it's
Wow, the
high
only
jewelry,
Yeah.
right? Haute joaillerie. And she even had an exhibit at the Musée de Légion d'honneur, which is really an
huge.
amazing accomplishment for someone who just started designing what she was in her 40s.
Yeah. And she'd never done anything like that before. She really had like a vision.
That's so big. I love that she went like scuba diving and became a jeweler. Yeah, wow. What about you, Grace? Do you have a favorite story that inspired your life in some way?
That was recent. That was during the pandemic. There was a couple of American women here who were going to open a restaurant and sort of cocktail bar, Izzy's. And then the pandemic hit and it was impossible to really open a restaurant. And so they sort of pivoted and thought about what was like the most exciting part of their business to them. And that was making these like artisanal cocktails. And they founded a business that would deliver artisanal plant-based cocktails to your house every week. And that their business, I think, is booming during the pandemic. And that was really a wonderful story to hear about something that could have been a disaster. And they turned it around and turned it into something really incredible.
That is such a great story. And I think we all needed more alcohol during the lockdown.
It
So
didn't
when
hurt.
time to pivot, not a bad idea. And why do you think people connect to stories so much? I mean, comes up as a common theme on social media, even journalism, obviously, but it's always coming back to stories. People want stories. And as storytellers for the website, why do you think storytelling is so important in today's society?
Well, I mean, everybody loves a good story. I think because they're so relatable. When you hear about someone else's personal journey, you identify with different parts of that journey,
Mm-hmm.
and so I think we all find inspiration or solidarity.
Yeah.
Someone who's struggled through difficulties in their lives, and then we hear that and we feel, okay, well, we're not the only ones that have gone through that.
Mm-hmm.
And this person survived, so maybe I'll find inspiration. Like, how did they get through that? Even when you're a kid, you like hearing stories when you go to bed. It's sort of, in a way, reassuring, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. I mean, storytelling from podcasts to, I come from communications background to anything in terms of marketing and branding. I mean, it's a big thing now for companies also, storytelling. Everything's
Yeah.
about storytelling. Because people relate to stories, I think. What do you
Yeah.
think?
I think we're all looking for connection,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's through buying a Coca-Cola or learning about a woman who started a gemstone business. We want to relate and we want to connect at the end of the day. And how has working for Inspirelle and while living in France at the same time changed both of you as people? I mean, obviously working for this brand and also living in France is a lot. So talk a little bit about maybe how it's changed you or how you see life or even some of your own things that you do on a daily basis. Have you changed at all from working at Inspirelle while living in France? Has that
Well,
affected
I think for a lot of, like Grace said, expats who arrive here in France, particularly, it's very difficult sometimes to create a new community.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have family and friends already established. There are some countries, maybe the US, where it's a little bit easier to meet people in your daily life. Let's face it, in France, it's not the easiest. French people, maybe when you first meet them, might be a little bit closed off. Their friends tend to be friends from like grammar school,
Mm-hmm.
They're not necessarily the first few times you meet them the most open. That doesn't mean that you can't have French friends and community as well. It just takes a little bit longer, I think. But something with Inspirelle is really helped is creating, I think, a community for me, for other women too, they've told us that for English speaking women, sometimes it's just easier to communicate in the beginning in your native language.
Mm-hmm.
And you have certain cultural touchstones in common. And so when you have that base, then you can go out and meet all kinds of different people. But at least you sort of have a home community that you feel secure and supported in, and give you confidence to maybe to go out more and meet other people after that.
Mm-hmm.
But that sense of community is just so important, I think, when you arrive in a new place.
And the information.
Well, I think the community has probably, for me as well, that's been the most fulfilling part of creating Inspirelle. So, we started by thinking, okay, we're going to create a resource and a website. But in fact, we turned Inspirelle into an association just a couple years ago, a community association, because that has become the most valuable part of what we do.
Mm-hmm.
Gathering like-minded individuals together. I say individuals because it's majority women, but there are a couple guys. we don't turn guys away, but
I'm not picking them out.
That I find, what's changed is, I'm happy to always think about Inspirelle when I'm doing stuff. I want to share things I've discovered or trials and tribulations that I've gone through. And then we're always seeking that from other women when we hear good stories that other people can learn from and grow from. We find, Inspirelle, we want to share that through Inspirelle with the rest of the community to help others.
I love that you created this community of women and a couple of men.
And non-binary people, welcome too.
Yeah, non-binary, exactly. That's great. And so a lot of people always say that women aren't so great at supporting each other. There can be more animosity, and that's why there's a boys' club out there, and na. How has that been your experience? Do you find that women support each other easily? Do you find there can be animosity? Like, what is your experience with that?
I found that not to be true. Honestly, I mean, I felt like women, or maybe I don't know how you feel, Liz, but I mean, I felt like all the women I've met here and even through my life have been very supportive of each other. I do agree that in general, I think in certain circles and in the business world, there's not enough of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I fortunately have not encountered animosity from other women, only women who want to help each other.
What about you, Elizabeth?
Yes, I would totally agree with both things that you said. First of all, I've had enormous support and help from the women in my life. And so in general, I think that women are very supportive of each other. But I did occasionally experience some competition when I was working in the US, in Los Angeles. And that is because of the culture that's created in, I think, in corporate world, where there can't be too many women. And so they're sort of pitted against each other. So I wouldn't even say that it's necessarily the fault of the women involved. It's more of a societal aspect of how corporate America is run, unfortunately. But since I've left that world, I have not experienced that at all. It's been really supportive.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and there's so many women's associations just in Paris alone.
Yeah.
I mean, even when I first arrived, there was the AWE, the Association of American Wives of Europeans, which is now women in Europe. There's AWG. I mean, Inspirelle is mainly women. Messages for parents, but there are a lot of women, and you have British Women's Club, Canadian. There are a lot of women's associations and clubs.
Yeah. There's a huge expat community here, and I think that as lonely as Paris can be, you can also find so many new friends because there are so many different communities that you don't have to be British or you don't have to be American. You just have to want to join the group. French people join these groups too, which is great.
Mm-hmm. That's true. We have quite a few French members, don't we, Grace?
We do. we do.
Oh, that's great.
Um,
And what do the French members think of the group, of the website? They enjoy it just as much as the internationals.
I think so. I
yeah,
think maybe the same kind of thing maybe doesn't exist for exclusively French women, or maybe it's we do tend to have readers who are people who are have lived in other countries or traveled and or really love the US or the UK and then come back to France.
Hmm.
So it is a very
exactly.
international group.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
have some French women who've lived overseas and want to stay connected to the international community, and so they enjoy. We had a few French women last night at our event at Free Persephone who work with expats as well.
Hmm.
So they're interested in staying connected with our international community.
Yeah, it's a great resource. And what
Plus,
do you,
we've spoken to some women who have French women who've lived overseas and come back, and they find a sort of reverse culture shock.
of course, it can happen.
Do
I feel that way when I go back to the States now. I'm like, what is
you?
this country? I'm very confused. And what do you hope to do with Inspirelle in the long term? Do you guys have some long-term goals? Obviously, it's evolved into this more community association than just a knowledge-based website. So, what are your hopes for the long term of Inspirelle?
But I think continue building out our community, and we also have a business partnership program where we invite people with local businesses to partner with us so that we can help promote their businesses through our platform, through
Mhm.
our website, through our events. Like last night, we just had an event with two of our business partners, Izzy's Cocktails and Free Persephone Spa, and it was really fun. We brought them together, and they're both like creative. So Lauren, the owner of Free Persephone, said, "Oh yeah, well, do you think you could create some cocktails based on the notes in the four perfumes that we've created?" And
Wow.
Izzy's founders, Allison and Jennifer, were super excited. They're like, "That's exactly the kind of challenge we love." Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, things are
So
coming together in ways you couldn't expect.
yeah, and we would love to just continue doing that more. I mean, Elizabeth and I, and my co-founder Nancy, plus our other volunteers, we're all volunteers, and
Hmm.
we sort of have day jobs that pay us,
Yeah.
that pay the rent. This is our nonprofit association, which we do for the community. So everyone who writes for us and works for us is our volunteers,
Hmm.
um, and I think there's something really special in that. I mean, it brings us close together as well because we're not doing it just for the money.
And in
And then,
addition to the business partnership, we have launched a membership program as well to offer people want to get even more involved. We offer them special deals for our business partners or discounts for our events. And again, we're not trying. Nobody's trying to get rich off of this. We're it's just goes to supporting the website and the events and things that we do.
Hmm.
The so that we can connect more people together, offer them even more resources. So I would love to see that expanded in the future. Yeah.
Hmm.
I think you brought up an important point as well that you all have, full-time jobs. This is not making you rich by any means. It's a passion project, a side hustle, if you could say.
Hmm.
And can you talk a little bit about the importance of passion projects and side hustles? Because I think a lot of people shy away from them because they think, oh, I can't make money. I can't quit my day job. But what would you say to those people?
Um, I would say, I mean, a lot of times we do work. Hopefully, we're all doing work that we love, but sometimes we don't, right? But
Hmm.
everybody has skills and interests, and I don't think any one job can sort of allow us to explore all of our interests and passions. So
Yeah.
if for us, like Inspirelle, for me, I'm a communications consultant, so I do like events and I consult on PR, marketing, and stuff like that. But Inspirelle is something that is very fulfilling for me because I get to handle the social media. I get to play with the graphics on the website, things I kind of like to do, but I
Mhm.
don't need to do in my day job. And we all have passions and hobbies, and if you can do it in a way that you can share that with other people or that can benefit other people, um, that brings another level of fulfillment in life.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. Love that. What do you think, Elizabeth?
Yeah, I think, sometimes I wish I could be making money off of my creative passions a little bit more, but
Yeah.
because it's not supporting my financially is not a reason not to do it. And especially I think for people who have creative impulses, it's really important to feed those. Just because it's not making you money or it's not your day job isn't a reason to shove those impulses aside. I think it actually can be detrimental if you're not really doing things that you love to do. So
Hmm.
Mhm.
whether that's, writing or drawing or podcasting or whatever it is, I think you do need to make time for those creative endeavors, things that sort of feed your soul, even if they're not feeding your pocketbook.
Yeah.
Well, and it can lead to something else. I mean, we've profiled so many people who have pursued their passions, like you, Crystal, and it's turned into a job. I mean, we profiled, chefs they were working in marketing before, and all of a sudden they decided, okay, I need a change in my life because of whatever happened in their lives, divorce or this or that. I've always loved cooking. I want to go to do a cooking course in Paris at Cordon Bleu, and then they do it, and then they become a chef,
Mhm.
and they're doing really well, and then they put out a cookbook, and you have so many stories like that of people pursuing their passions. And there was one woman here, she's since left Paris, but she started pursuing her passion by just making cupcakes and cakes. I did this on the side as well, but she did it in her kitchen, and then she launched a whole boutique selling those cakes and cupcakes. So
Wow.
you can turn your passion into your job. Well, actually, Jean Caron has pursued her passion of making cookies, and she has a successful cookie boutique here.
Mhm. Yeah, it's important, and as you said, it can't always just be about money because creating is, what we're doing here. That's why we're here. That's what when wakes us up in the morning is,
Hmm.
problem solving and evolving. So I think it's very important, and like you said, like it can turn into a paying gig. You just don't know what's going to happen until you step up. So I think it's really important, both your points there.
Yeah,
And
in the
what
meantime, you're getting experience and you're getting uh, practice at whatever it is you're trying to do. So you're developing your skills. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. One of my guests said it's like playing in the shadows. And I really like that because that's exactly what it's about. It's about playing around, doing something kind of fun, but you're kind of hiding a little bit. You're not saying, oh, this is my main gig, this is who I am. But
Hmm.
it leaves you the freedom to, have a little fun and see where that can take you.
Yeah, we all need fun in our lives.
I would hope so. And what advice would you both give to people who say they're not creative, they're not good at anything? How would you help them find their creative gifts? How would you help them discover what they, enjoy to create?
Well, at first, I think you have to look at, well, what do you enjoy experiencing? Maybe you love art, but you don't think you can draw. I mean, take an art class. Maybe it's a different medium that you like, or maybe you would be interested in writing about art instead of making it yourself. I mean, there are a lot of things around the things that you're passionate about that could become a creative endeavor. I think, look at the things that you love to do and try taking some classes, try joining a group maybe of other people who are interested in the thing that you're interested in, whether that's sort of kind of a critique group if you're a writer or a professional group or something like that, where you can meet other people and again create sort of a community around that.
Mm-hmm.
And the sometimes it really is a question of really carving out that time in your schedule to devote to whatever it is you want to do, even if it's an hour a week.
Yeah,
You just have to get started sometimes.
for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm going to bring up my mom as an example. She She's now like in her early 70s, and she always loved drawing or painting, but then she had 3 kids and she became a bookkeeper, and she was just too busy to explore that side of
Yeah.
her. And when she retired, she started taking some more courses in drawing and painting and everything. And she now is so prolific. I mean, and she watches things on uh, well, she gets inspired by other artists that are on Pinterest and Instagram, and she watches YouTube videos and has started pour painting. And she just recently had her first like art show, art
Wow.
And
exhibit in
she's really
Chicago.
good.
That's so cool.
So it's never too late, and we all have it in us. It's just you have to find what you love. And like
Mhm.
Liz said, you can always polish up your skills if you feel like you don't have the skills that you want to do well at something, but start with
Mhm.
what you love.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great foundation. And nobody started perfect, that's for sure.
There's no
No.
perfect anyways.
Yeah, there's no such thing. That's really freeing when you know that. And ladies, where can our listeners connect with you online, go to your events, read your articles, share? Where should they go?
Well, Inspirelle.com is our website. You can sign up for the free newsletter. That's the best way to stay updated about the articles that we're posting and the events and deals that we're organizing. We do have a membership program, but start by signing up with the newsletter. It comes out every Thursday. It features the newest article as well as some ideas of what you can do every weekend in Paris.
And that works well even if you don't live here, guys, because maybe you're visiting and you want to find something fun to do on your next visit. So thank you both for chatting with me today. I really enjoyed our conversation, and I'll be looking for the next newsletter on Thursday.
Thank you. Grace, do you want to
Thank
shout out the
you.
social medias just in case?
Oh yeah, well, we're on all the different social media channels as well: Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. So you'll find us on all those. Inspirelle Paris. Thank you
Got
so
it.
much for having us, Crystal.
Of course, and I'll share all that in the show notes. Thank you so much, ladies.
Thank you, Crystal.
Thanks so much for tuning in to La Vie Creative. You can find more information on MissParisPhoto.com. And if you enjoyed this show, please feel free to share and spread the word for all my creative guests. We have the power to help them to keep doing what they love. See you next time.